You already knew something was wrong. You couldn't explain it, but something deep in your gut was whispering that what you were seeing and what you were being told were two completely different things. They were smiling, saying all the right words, but something in you wasn't buying it, and you couldn't figure out why. And you ignored it because you didn't have the language to explain what your body already knew. That's what this is about. Not a party trick, not manipulation. This is about finally giving you the words to understand what you've been sensing your entire life. Because you've always been reading people, you just didn't know how to trust what you were reading. Picture this. You're at dinner with someone you care about, and they're telling you they're fine. They're saying everything is good, but something about the way they're sitting feels off. Their shoulders are pulled slightly inward. Their feet, though you hadn't consciously noticed, are pointed toward the door, and there's a half smile on their face that disappears just a little too quickly. Your brain caught all of that. It processed every single detail, but because no one ever taught you what to do with that information, you let the words win. You convinced yourself you were overthinking, but you weren't overthinking, you were reading. Here's what most people don't understand about communication. The words we speak account for a surprisingly small fraction of what we actually transmit to other people. Everything else, the tone, the posture, the hands, the eyes, the space between our body and yours, that's where the truth lives, and most people can't control it. Their conscious mind is managing the words, but the rest of the body is running on instinct, and instinct almost never lies. So let's start from the top, literally, the eyes. You've been told your whole life that liars don't make eye contact, but here's what actually happens. Some liars stare too much, and they lock eyes with an almost uncomfortable intensity because they want you to believe they have nothing to hide. What you want to watch is the blink rate. Under stress, people blink faster, not dramatically, just slightly. The rhythm shifts, and once you know someone's natural pace, you'll notice instantly when something changes. And then there's something even more powerful, the pupils. When we see something that genuinely interests us, our pupils expand involuntarily, completely outside of conscious control. It's one of the few signals in the human body that cannot be faked. Wide pupils mean genuine engagement, and when they constrict, something about this topic is making them deeply uncomfortable. Pause for just a moment. Think about someone in your life right now who confuses you, who says one thing but somehow leaves you feeling uncertain. Keep them in mind as we keep going. Now let's talk about the part of the body nobody watches, the feet. And this is the one that changes everything. A former FBI agent named Joe Navarro spent decades studying human behavior in interrogation rooms, and what he found is that the feet are the most honest part of the human body, because nobody thinks to manage their feet. We control our face, we control our words, we sometimes control our hands, but the feet just go where the subconscious wants to go. If someone's body is facing you, but their feet are angled slightly away, toward a door, toward an exit, toward anywhere that isn't you, that person wants to leave, even if they're smiling through the entire conversation. And if someone genuinely wants to be around you, their feet will be pointed directly at you, anchored, not rehearsed, just there. Watch this the next time you're in a group conversation. Look at who people's feet are pointed toward when they laugh or share something. It's almost always the person they feel most comfortable with. Now here's where it gets even more interesting, the hands. When we are under stress, our hands instinctively move toward our face, and researchers believe this is an evolutionary self-soothing mechanism we inherited from millions of years of primate behavior. So if you ask someone a question, and before they answer, their hand moves to their face, that's not nothing. That's the nervous system buying time. That's the nervous system saying, I need a moment. It doesn't mean they're lying, and that's an important distinction. Body language is not a lie detector, it's a stress detector. And the question that becomes yours to answer is, why is this moment stressful for them?
Let's talk about something most videos on this topic never address, the arms. And crossed arms have a complicated reputation that most people get completely wrong. What matters isn't the crossed arms themselves. What matters is the shift. If someone's arms were open, and then you said something, and then they crossed them, that shift is what you're looking for. And here's a subtle twin to that signal: objects as barriers. When someone is uncomfortable, they'll often place something between you and me. A coffee cup, a phone, a bag. It's almost never conscious, but the body is creating distance because it needs more space than the room is giving it. This is a good moment to pause and reflect. Think about the last time someone hurt you, not with what they said, but with what they didn't say, with the shift in how they held themselves around you. You already knew. You were already reading. You just didn't have permission to trust it. And this is your permission. Now let's talk about mirroring, because this is one of the most quietly powerful things happening in human connection. When two people genuinely like each other, their bodies start to move together unconsciously. If you lean forward, they lean forward. If you tilt your head, a few seconds later, theirs tilts too. This is the nervous system saying, "I feel safe with you. I am with you." And two people who are performing closeness will stay eerily still, separate, controlled. Here's the twist I need you to sit with. Everything we've talked about today, the feet, the eyes, the hands, the mirroring, none of it works if you're only using it to judge people. Because the most dangerous thing about learning to read body language isn't reading it wrong, it's reading it without empathy. That person who keeps touching their face around you, maybe they've spent their whole life being told they weren't enough. Their body learned to protect itself before their mind could catch up. The signals are real. The stress is real, but the story behind the stress requires something body language alone can never give you. It requires you to ask, to be curious instead of certain, to create the kind of space where the truth feels safe enough to come forward on its own. Because the deeper you get into reading people, the more compassion you develop, not less. You stop seeing liars and start seeing people who are scared. You stop being angry at the performance and start feeling something closer to grief for the part of them that felt it had to perform in the first place. So the next time you're in a conversation and something feels off, don't talk yourself out of it. Watch the feet. Notice the hands. Pay attention to what closes and what opens. And instead of using what you see to protect yourself from someone, use it to understand them. Because the most powerful thing you can do with the ability to read anyone in a room is not to expose them. It's to finally, after all this time, make them feel like they don't have to hide.
Like to learn more about human psychology? Like, comment, and share this video. Subscribe my channel now. Thank you for watching.